Sometimes in life, we give up without realizing how close to success we are. We stop trying in a relationship and then realize too late that we've lost something wonderful. We let go of our dreams when the one thing we needed to make them happen was just around the corner. Let's start by focusing on being thankful for the things you have. You don't want to end up with a heart full of regret, like this man, who left his wife because he thought he wanted to be with another woman who was younger and more beautiful. He believed that his wife had become boring and was no longer physically attractive. He didn't feel like he was getting what he wanted from her anymore, and so he traded her in for somebody who he considered to be prettier and more exciting. In just 1 year, he came to regret it deeply. So deeply, in fact, that he wrote an open letter to the internet to serve as a warning to others who might make the same mistake he did. The words of his letter are tender and heartfelt and tell the story about what happened over the 12 months since he left his wife. He describes meeting her again, almost a year to the day since they split, at a time when he was alone. His relationship with the new, younger woman didn't last, and he had nobody. By contrast, his wife had become the same beautiful woman he'd first fallen in love with. She'd lost weight, bought new clothes, and started paying attention to her hair and makeup again. At that point, he realized what he'd done wrong. He'd failed to understand that she'd gained weight because of the recent birth of their third child. He didn't realize that she didn't have time to focus on beauty products and grooming because she was busy raising young children. Now, with the children a little older and with more time to spend on herself, she was radiant once more. Her true beauty had never been lost. She just had more important things to focus on at the time. Someone else had noticed her beauty too, and she was in a new relationship. The foolish man had lost his wife forever. Like Joni Mitchell once sang, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone." Age is just a number. So long as you have the mind, body, and soul to chase a dream, you can still achieve it. Ruth Flowers embodied that message perhaps better than anyone else. Ruth, under her stage name of Mammy Rock, was a British grandmother who became one of the most celebrated and in-demand DJs in the entire world. She lost her husband when she was already in retirement age, and for a time she seemed content to spend her remaining years living in a coastal region of Portugal, with great weather and beach views. Then, looking for something to do with her spare time, she got involved in planning her grandson's 21st birthday party. She found the process brought her a great deal of joy and decided to turn up to the event in a nightclub. A rude bouncer who suggested that she was too old to enter the venue was the final push she needed to set about proving that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Ruth was going to show that bouncer that not only did she belong in a nightclub, she could be the DJ if she wanted to. Ruth had no DJing experience at all, and her only previous experience of performing was providing lectures on the works of classical author Charles Dickens. Despite that, she started taking lessons in how to mix, and as her skills developed, her quirky tastes made her unique. The press became interested in her story, and her first ever booking was in front of a celebrity audience at Cannes Film Festival in 2009 at the age of 68. Just 4 years later, aged 72, she was routinely flown around the world to perform in Ibiza, Ayia Napa, and every other iconic clubbing city where crowds couldn't get enough of her. Mammy Rock was a sensation. Nobody cared about her age. They just loved her talent. Life is a learning experience for as long as we want it to be. We don't have to stop learning new things on the day we leave school, college, or university. Many of us will go back to take courses in our spare time or learn work-specific qualifications as and when our professional lives require us of it. But why stop there? If you have a thirst for knowledge, why not indulge it for your whole life? That's exactly what an elderly student called Rose did, and she inspired everybody around her by doing so. As the old lady explained, she'd never received a college education and had spent her life feeling like she'd missed out. So at the age of 87, she finally decided to challenge herself and enroll to achieve a diploma. The student and Rose became close friends quickly, And the younger woman found that Rose had a great deal to teach her about life and how a positive attitude can create great changes. Popular among many of her fellow students, Rose was invited to speak at the college football banquet. Standing up nervously at first, she explained that there were only 4 lessons in life that everyone needed to learn. Firstly, you must always have a dream. Without a dream, we are simply living with nothing to aim for. That's the difference between growing old and growing up. Secondly, you have to find humor even in the darkest times and laugh every day. Thirdly, we do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Fourth, the elderly learn to never regret anything that they did, only the things that they did not do. So take chances, eliminate the regrets, do the things that inspire you. Everybody who was there listened and learned. Rose got her diploma. She achieved her dream. Everybody knows what Colonel Sanders looks like. He's the cartoon face of Kentucky Fried Chicken, the founder of the brand, and the man who brought one of our favorite fast food restaurants to us. But that cartoon was based on a real man. It might be easy to believe that the Colonel was a rich, successful man. How could he not be? There are thousands of KFC restaurants all over the world, and he's the man who opened the very first. So all the money must have gone to him when the company became successful. That might be true, but that success didn't come overnight. It didn't come easily either. In the 7th grade, Sanders dropped out of school completely and left home to go and work as a farmhand. He may have been poor, but he was driven. That's a very young age to try to strike your own path. Normal jobs just didn't seem to hold any appeal for him. He joined the army but was discharged a year later. He worked as a laborer on the railways but was fired. He tried to study law but was kicked out of law school too. Eventually, he was forced to move back in with his mother and found a job selling insurance, but couldn't keep hold of that either. In 1920, he tried to get into the ferry boat business and did okay for a while, but sold his firm to try his hand manufacturing lamps instead, only to find someone else was doing it cheaper and better than him. He just couldn't catch a break, but he always believed there was a route to success open to him somewhere if he could just find it. By the time he decided to start selling fried chicken might be the way to do it, he was already 40 years old. But even then, with his chicken recipe, life threw obstacles at him. His first restaurant burned down. He started again from scratch, only to be forced to abandon the restaurant due to the events of 1939 to 1946. Eventually, he decided that selling his recipe and operating a franchise model was the way forward. His recipe, which today is worth billions of dollars, was rejected by food manufacturers 1,009 times. It was on the 1,010th attempt that got him over the line. No matter how many times life told him no, Sanders was simply never willing to accept that answer. In his own words, he said, "I made a resolve then that I was going to amount to something if I could, and no hours, nor amount of labor, nor amount of money would deter me from giving the best that there was in me." Every time life tells you no, remember Colonel Sanders. Remember the value in never giving up. Love always finds a way. If you are truly supposed to be with one person, they will find their way to you if you keep your eyes open. There's no better example of that than Amy Giberson and Justin Pounders, who live in St. Petersburg, Florida. They found each other, like so many people do these days, on an online dating website. They hit it off immediately and started a relationship. But it would be a chance conversation a year later that made them realize that they'd both attended the same preschool. Wondering if they'd ever met or even talked, they both went and spoke to their parents to see if they had any photographs of the time, which neither of them could remember. To everybody's amazement, not only had they known each other, they were childhood sweethearts. They sat together at lunch. They chased each other around the playground. They were inseparable. When preschool ended, they'd both been sent to different primary schools. And as time went on, memories of those early years faded, as they always do, and they slowly forgot about each other. And yet, here they were, 30 years later, still feeling that same connection and affection for each other that had been apparent on the very first day they ever laid eyes on each other. Their lives had gone in different directions. They both very nearly ended up with different partners, and would have lived their lives never knowing or remembering the connection they had when they were young. But now they're married and have a child of their own. Sometimes, puppy love truly can last a lifetime. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and you will be the first to know when a new video comes out. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.